Good morning, class. My name is Specialist Rangel. In today's discussion, we're going to be on the topic of the Army values. We're going to discuss the leadership acronym, the terms that make up the acronym, defining each and single one of them, as long as using an example. Classification level of this is unclassified. Risk assessment, where risk is low, we're inside, nothing should be happening. And that's that. Do I have any questions at this time? All right, let's move forward. So we all heard of the Army values, right? We've seen it on posters. We more than likely seen it in action outside physically. But why is it titled the Army values? It is titled the Army values because this Army uses it as a foundation, right? It's something that we stand on with 2 feet, that we stand upon, that we execute efficiently. That being said, these Army values are an unspoken rule that everyone lives by. Doesn't matter rank, authority, or supervisor. Okay? Everyone lives by these core values one way or another. Understand? Any questions? Okay. So continuing on, we'll break down the leadership acronym, right? Let's start with the first 3. We got loyalty, duty, and respect. Let's go into the definitions. Definition of loyalty, right, is faithfulness, to commitments and or obligations under a cause, a leader, or a government. All right, those 3 things. And amongst other things, etc., etc., etc. So let's use an example, right? Loyalty. That's junior listed. E4, E3s, and below. Okay. We have leaders, appointed above us. We are loyal to them. We fall under them. It is expected of us to execute their taskings, to get things done, to execute operations, to tactfully make things happen, correct? So that's what it means to be loyalty. Loyalty is executing missions, what is expected of us from the higher ups, from superiors, leaders, so on and so forth. All right. Next term is duty, which is defined as something that one is required to do by moral or legal obligation. So let's break it down. Break it down to moral and legal obligation, right? Legal obligation, again, us wearing the uniform. It's expected of us to do what we're told without question, without second guessing, without asking why. Otherwise, consequences will follow. And if we continue to, disregard, then more consequences follow, and so on and so forth, and nothing good comes out of it, right? That's the legal obligation we have. To do what we're told, or else face negative consequences. All right? Moral obligation. The term moral is something that a person lives by, a person, a group, a community, so on and so forth lives by, that they believe is right. Our moral obligation is to serve the people of the United States, to protect their rights, to protect our homeland, our soil, and our way of life. Okay, that's our duty. That's our moral and legal obligation to execute. Right? Everyone understand? All right, on to the next term. Thirdly, we got respect. The meaning behind respect is having esteem for or a sense of worth or excellence of a person. All this definition is kind of like, what? Yeah, some people confused. So allow me to break it down for you. Allow me to elaborate on it. So having respect for somebody, right? What does it mean to have respect? To have respect is acknowledging somebody or something, whether it be an inanimate object or a religious figure, statue, what have you, right? Having respect is acknowledging that person, that object, and showing courtesy, showing, being nice, being, courteous, just accepting their beliefs, accepting that person, acknowledging them for who they are or what they are. Okay? Do I have any questions at this time about any of these three topics? Okay, moving on. Next three, you got selfless service, you got honor, you got integrity. Okay? So selfless service. It's an act of giving without expecting anything in return. Okay? Excuse me. So, for example, us soldiers, right? We get put on details, here, there, and everywhere. But on the side of it, we provide service to the community also for missions, right? So there's missions that are like, we go out and clean up a park, per se. Or we go and pick up trash on a sidewalk. Or we go and help repaint an on-post schooling or something. In other words, we do things out of the goodness of our hearts. All right? We do it without expecting a reward in return. We do this because it's the right thing to do. That is what selfless service is about. Understand? Everybody gets it? All right. So the next term, we have honor, which is having high respect for, having high respect for worth, merit, or rank. All right. Allow me to elaborate more on that. All right. Honor and respect, right? They go hand in hand. If you're honoring something, you're showing that person, you're showing that object, you're showing someone or something that proper respect, that proper acknowledgement, the proper way of handling it, proper way of going about it. Understand? So when you honor something, you're respecting it, you're acknowledging, in other words. It's the best way to put it. You acknowledge them. Right? You're being professional, upholding composure without any, signs or showings of negativity. Understood? Okay. Next, lastly, integrity. It's an adherence to moral or ethical principles or soundness of moral character. So we all were placed in a position where our integrity was checked, compromised, or what have you. Okay? Having integrity means you are able to own up to, mistakes, consequences, or anything positive, really. Right? Having integrity means you have that ability to accept what has happened. It could be the end result, like outcome, or you can accept the consequences or rewards or something positive or negative along that nature, right? So that's what it means to have integrity, to have that ability, that attribute to own up to one's, decisions, not mistakes, decisions. Like, yes, I made that call, or yes, that's my fault, or yes, I gave him permission to do this, and that, X, Y, Z, right? Everyone understand? Do you have any questions? No questions. Up next, personal courage. Now, personal courage, right? It's not like a word, one of these other words that you can find in the dictionary, right? This is more of an action. This is more of a state of mind that one person has, which contains the ability to make split-second decisions, and perform under pressure. With no regards to fear, and fearlessness when it comes to obstacles, and facing fearlessness in the face of danger, right? Also, personal courage. It could be physical, it could be mental, it could be emotional, okay? So let's apply personal courage to those three subtopics right there. Physical, mental, and emotional. Physical personal courage is, for example, you're swimming in a pool, right? There's a bunch of adults and kids running around. The kid runs into the pool without knowing, and starts, frantically trying to get out, drowning, in a sense, right? But you yourself, you don't really know how to swim. You don't know. You were never taught or what have you. And you got to come to, no one else is paying attention, so you got to come to that split-second decision. Hey, I got to save this kid before he drowns. And you knowing that you can't swim, you just go for it anyways. You make that split-second decision to go ahead and save that kid, bring him out of the pool, him or her out of the pool, and save their lives. That is physical courage. Understand? Everyone gets it? All right. Mental. Personal courage for mentality, right? Some of us have been in, I'm pretty sure all of us can relate to when we've been in arguments or been placed in positions to where, we gotta think before we speak, right? Having that mental personal courage is knowing when to react and how to react. In other words, knowing what to say and how to say it. You don't react on impulse, but you react after comprehending the information that was handed to you or something that was said to you, right? And then making the proper judgment call, of what words to use and how to express those words and so on and so forth. That's mental personal courage. Emotional personal courage for emotional, right? For emotions. So some of us, have been told something that hits us the wrong way. Excuse me. And and then we react, right? Our emotions tell us to react this way and that way, this and that, right? But sometimes we have to bite our tongues and not say anything. We just gotta let it roll on, let it go, and just keep rolling on, right? That's emotional personal courage. Knowing if to react and knowing if it needs to be a reaction. Okay? Do I have any questions at this time about personal courage? Or any of the leadership terms that we just discussed? Nobody? Right? All right, okay. So, to conclude this presentation, got the Army values. It is a foundation that the Army stands on to help guide soldiers down the right path, whether to further their career or when they ETS and go work in the civilian population, or simply they can apply it at home, right? These 7 can work on their own. It is possible. But when like minds think alike and you put them together, you get something like this. Leadership, the acronym. First letter of each term, right? You get leadership. Using this leadership and applying it to, soldiers, showing it to them, and giving classes like I just did today, giving it to them, right? Passing on the information, passing on the knowledge on how to apply this and how to show others what, being a leader is. When you do that, when you apply that, it not only becomes a foundation, it becomes more of now a stepping stone, right? What I mean by that is when you use it as a stepping stone, you use it to unlock a whole new other levels of possibilities. They can use it to, like I said, they can use it to teach a class. They can teach it to their little teams out in the civilian world, or they can teach it to their squads or platoons, company, so on and so forth, back here in any military installation, right? This leadership, these Army values, is what helps form the Army. It helps paint this great picture and hold this great perception of what leaders do and what the Army does to help soldiers down the right path. Okay, everyone understand? Everyone gets it? Without these Army values, the Army would not be where it is right now. Because these values, these unspoken rules that we live by every day, inside and outside the uniform, is what helps the Army stand on 2 feet. It's what helps soldiers get through the days, right? For their entire career in the Army. All right. So this concludes my presentation of the Army values. I went over the acronym, the terms, definitions, uses of examples. Again, this was unclassified, classification level, excuse me. Do I have any impending questions from beginning, during, or at the end of this presentation? Nobody? Okay. Again, my name is Specialist Rangel, and this discussion was about the Army values. Thank you for your time.